What's up, War Report family? I am your host, C Dub. Last week, we discussed Vegas's over and under for win totals for the SEC East Division. Tonight, all the fellas are here to discuss the over and under for the SEC West in terms of win totals. And we're definitely going to break down what we think about Auburn. We definitely want to hear your thoughts as we discuss that and other topics in tonight's edition of the Midweek Report. Happy Wednesday, everyone. Welcome to the latest Midweek Report, courtesy of auburnsports.com. Definitely show those guys some love as they've been some of our day ones. Shout out to JG Tate and those guys for what they do over there. Please head over there to get your latest intel on Auburn Sports. Again, we appreciate them and we appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Do us a favor, share this content on social media if you're on social media. That is Facebook or Twitter. Please share this. Even add us so we know that you did it. Use the hashtag, get your weight up. Smash that like button and subscribe if you are new to the channel. And as usual, we got to plug some of this amazing film review and all this content that are for the privilege for the Green Name Gang. How can you get a green name? Tell them, Mike.
It's real simple, man. You got to come on board as a member of the War Report. Membership is it's not expensive, man. It's the cost of like a fast food meal once per month, though, right? Out of the 30 days, you only have to give up that meal once per month as far as the cost of that to get this great content. And we appreciate everybody who continues to do that. Come on board with the Green Name Gang. If you are a member of that, you can gift a membership to somebody else. We appreciate everybody who's continued to do that. Just like every other show, we're giving away stuff. Another mug going out there. Hashtag Get Your Weight Up, sponsored by War Eagle Oil. Make sure you get your hashtag in. If you're on Facebook, unfortunately, you have to be over on the YouTube stream to win because we'll do that drawing after the 1 hour mark. And we're on podcast. Those of you who don't know, we got that audio only situation popping off over there. So make sure you lock in with us on podcast and we will get you all of the good content that you need to keep up with Auburn sports.
Gentlemen, how are we this evening? Good. The number nods.
I'm good. I'm good.
I know what my basketball team is going to look like this fall, so I'm feeling a little better.
Yeah, aren't you glad when a good plan comes together, B?
Yeah, I was freaking out on purpose, just acting desperate. So Broom would be like, "Man, they really need me back. I'm coming back," and it worked.
I'm sure that's exactly what it was. He was like, "Man, you know that dude B. Will from the War Report. He's a little anxious about me potentially not returning."
Exactly. And then so we got everybody whipped into a frenzy. You know what I'm saying? I actually pushed him through to get the invite to the combine, so he could have confidence that he'd get looks after the season. So that's what I did. That was my master plan. He needs enough motivation to know, oh, y'all got y'all eye on me. Well, I can go back to Auburn without losing my spot. Cool. Now he's back. So y'all are welcome. Everybody, y'all are welcome.
Just make sure you get an invite to whatever party or if he's present for the draft day, okay? Just make sure he don't forget about you for all the heavy lifting you've done, all right?
I'll talk to him about that, yeah.
All right, okay, all right. I mean, you did everything else, so, why not do this, right?
Yeah, I'm doing everything. Matter of fact, book us to the Final Four automatically. I'm doing that, too. I'm doing everything.
Listen, we can mention Broom, but some of the news that's related to Auburn basketball, John Brandon just posted it. Jalen. This is another name that we was curious about in terms of whether or not he would be back. And he announced that he is coming back for one last ride.
Yeah.
I hope this is the last dance, man. I hope this is kind of like Bulls-esque last dance type of deal where they run it back and do something special this year. But talk to me, man. When you this is kind of like one of the last pieces or the last pieces of the puzzle that you was curious about. Your thoughts about Jalen Williams returning and what this does for Auburn's lineup for the upcoming season.
I mean, listen, it gives you a stability that you needed as far as what he gives you on perimeter, right? What he gives you from an athleticism standpoint. We've already got some great athletes that we've added to the mix, but he gives you some more senior presence with continuity in this system, right? Like we've got some senior players that we're bringing in. We've got some experienced players, but they just haven't played here. So you've got another guy that's kind of just used to the SEC grind to come back with Janai to fill out that front court. Because we're likely going to have a new backcourt next year. Even if Trey Donaldson starts, he will be in a new role as a starting point guard, right? So nobody else that's in the front court, and then whoever's playing at the 3, unless, some kind of weird way they want to start. I don't say weird because Simo is a quality player. Unless they want to start Simo at the 3, 3 of your starting 5 are going to be new. So Jalen being back will bring you some more continuity with that. The outside shooting is something that he put on display last year. His ability to handle the ball is always good. He's a solid passer. He's got another year to come in and improve his ability to put the ball on the floor and score. That mid-range is always going to be deadly. Hopefully he's more tenacious on the boards and defensively, and we can go out there and make some noise in the SEC this year.
Mike G, talk to me, man.
Yeah, listen, man. It's got to feel good for Bruce Pearl to get not only Janai Broome, but Jalen Williams back. He came on as a scorer, last season. I think that if he can build on that, Auburn is going to be formidable or could be formidable. Adding Aiden Holloway and, what that backcourt might look like, completely different. Maybe getting some shooting, there to fill spots with other guys who were not as effective or consistent at shooting. This could be a whole different squad, but I think anchoring the team with 2 guys who were clearly leaders in different respects is huge for Bruce Pearl. I think it's huge. And it feels like the more senior experienced teams are making deeper runs in today's college basketball.
For sure.
So like having more experience returning, and even though your powerhouse program turning over all your talent every year is not a formula for going all the way. So you got to have some guys come back. Jalen's decided to come back. He kind of said it, at the tournament. Ike and I were there in the post game and asked him, hey, like this is last hurrah. And he was like, man, listen, nobody said they're going. So clearly the man meant what he said. He's back.
So B Will, like let me ask you this, and Ike, you can chime in as well on your thoughts, Mike as well. Obviously, with the changes in the backcourt, it's likely that the point guard is going to be asked to do something a little bit different this year as opposed to last year. Wendell Green was responsible for some production in terms of points scored from the backcourt and from the point guard position. If Trey Donaldson is the guy, I'm curious to see what's going to be asked of him, as you do have guys who can get buckets actually from other parts of the court. But I'm curious with Jalen Williams coming back and the potential that we saw towards the end of last season. Do you see his role potentially expanding, or is he just going to be asked to do what he's always have done? Do you think?
So a good question that I would have, and I'm thinking about that backcourt, is Wendell at times as really the best ball handler on the team. Zepp was not really a strong enough ball handler for us. Flanagan wasn't a strong enough ball handler. He had some turnover issues when he did handle the ball. So it was all on Wendell to not only keep the ball, keep the tempo, create for himself, create for others, but also go down there and defend guys who were too big for him most of the time.
Right.
What I think about when I think about Trey Donaldson running the point or Aiden Holloway running the point is, first of all, I think we've got at least 2 good ball handlers. I think the same with Trey and Aiden. I don't know if both of them will be on the floor at the same time. I think there's some lineups that we could see. But what I think of is Are either one of these guys as good at creating as Wendell was? Because we had shot opportunities last year. I remember several games that we lost that were closer games. The shot quality ratings for these, somebody did all these metrics and said, hey, based on the shots that we got that were available to us, we should have won this game. We weren't hitting those shots, but we should have won this game if we had hit enough of those shots. To me, that says, hey, if you put a Denver Jones, a Baker Mazar out there on last year's squad, Wendell could have done more creating that would have resulted in more buckets because we had better shooters. So when it comes to Jalen, he kind of had to do some creating for himself. Well, no, he didn't have to. I think he's best creating for himself. Let me say that. Jalen was best creating for himself. He didn't really depend on Wendell getting him wide open looks. He did shoot some spot up jumpers, but it was about him getting to that little corner on the block and finding that little move in that hook, getting inside and doing a little floater and hitting some spot up threes. But his spot up three was slow as Christmas, buddy. So he didn't have to rely on it all the time. It's just it's a slow shot. What I think about when I think about Jalen's productivity is, what is the point guard going to look like distributing to everybody else? Are we going to let a whole bunch of people try to get their own shot? Because I think that may work, a slashing and moving team offense instead of just Wendell and everybody else is moving. That's really what's going to determine how everybody's looks get distributed here. Is the point guard going to control everything? Or are we going to have a ball handler and score in Holloway? Let Trey Donaldson be a ball handler and score. If Denver Jones can be a ball handler and score. We've got too many guys who can do this to rely on just the point guard. So if that's the case, then does Jalen have enough individual, hey, Jalen, go get your shot moments? Is Jalen going to be down on the block and we run some type of two-man game with him and a point guard, or Broom and a point guard? Like, we got a lot of options now because we have plenty of guys who can handle the ball. So that's my roundabout way of wondering, what type of offense are we going to be running? Who are we going to look to distribute, to set up other players? And the same, we talked about this with Broom on the morning drop. This year can very much be a NBA prep year for both Broom and Jalen. And what I mean by that is the staff goes, we know what parts of your game you need to develop to get to the next level. Maybe for Jalen, it's hey, man, you have the body, you have the skills. It's time for you to show this confidence every day. Take the ball. We're going to give it to you. Go get a bucket. I would love to see that from Jalen. That's what I want to see from Jalen more than I want to see him in the mix with somebody and hitting spot up. No, take the ball. You've got the skills. Go and get a bucket. Demand the ball. You have what it takes to do this. Go and get us a bucket. Even though we have other guys on this team that can do it, I don't think what's going on that point guard should determine what type of aggression Jalen Williams has. I think he's got to be able to go do it for himself, for this team to be successful and for him to be successful next year.
Agreed.
So I guess my question to you is, there was concerns about getting a 5. We've always felt that Janai Broom would probably be better suited to be a 4 based on what gives him. But now that Williams is coming back, it's almost like Janai almost has to play the 5, or does he? What are your thoughts about this rotation and how do you see? You've been kind of giving us a preview of the roster and what you see based on who's coming back and who's committed. But how do you see this rotation going now with Williams back in the fold?
Yeah, I mean, I think, I'll answer the question that you asked me, Will, and I'll answer this one simultaneously. First and foremost, I think that his role is going to be very similar to what it was last year. I don't think we're going to rely on him to be a shot creator. He just needs to be a shot maker when the opportunities present themselves, because I think we've got enough guys that can create their own shot. The big thing for Jalen is probably going to be working on his ability to be better off the ball, because that's what he's going to be asked to do at the next level, is how well are you going to, he's never going, I don't want to say never. It's unlikely that he will be a main contributor on an NBA team if he makes the NBA. So he needs to work on being able to go get points when he's not the guy. So this is the year that you need to figure out how to move off the ball effectively, how to be able to hit spot up shots, how to just pick your opportunities to go out there and get points. As far as the rotation is concerned, I think that this is going to be back to what we're used to for Auburn basketball in a more up-tempo fashion. And Jay Will is going to be playing some small ball 5 for us, right? Like, I think that there's an opportunity for him to slide in and do that. Dylan Cartwell just announced that he's going to be back officially. So he's going to be coming in off the bench as a secondary post player, or the center that's going to be coming in with that as well. So I think that there's going to be an opportunity for Jay Will to be a guy who leads a second unit as a secondary scorer. In the first unit, though, I think he's going to be a tertiary or even a fourth scorer, right? Like, if you have Aiden in there as a starting point guard, he's going to be a primary scorer. Denver Jones can be a primary scorer. If you have Chad Baker-Mazar at the 3, he can be a primary scorer for you. So Jalen and then Janai, right? Like, you're going to run offense through him. 4 of those guys can be a scorer with you just getting the ball to them and letting them get out of the way. Jalen's going to be a guy that's going to get his points off of putbacks, get his points off of spot up opportunities, get his points off of, the duck down stuff that we're doing off of this motion offense that they like to run. So he's going to get his spots, but he doesn't need to be. This year, unlike last year, we don't need Jalen to do much because we got other guys who can create. Wendell's not the only guy who can come in and create a shot off of that team starting lineup. Last year, you had, Alan Flanagan can get his own shot, but he's not really a shot creator to that degree. And he's not really great at creating shots for other people. So late clock, you can get the ball in his hands, but you pretty much know he's going to take that shot. And if he over dribbles, turnover, or, offensive foul type of stuff, you have that kind of thing. Denver Jones is better at creating shots on his own. Trey Donaldson is more of a facilitator than he is a shot creator, but he can create for other guys. And I think he's going to flourish in the pick and roll offense. But for Jalen and for the rotation's sake, I think what you're going to see a lot of is him in the second unit. When Janai comes off the floor, then Jalen becomes your primary post scorer. And we're going to run the offense through him in the post. So you'll probably see him sub out early, and they'll bring in like a Chaney Johnson to get him in there in the first rotation. And then you'll bring Jalen back in that second rotational wave when you bring Janai off of the floor. Right. So that's what I would anticipate right now. Of course, I don't have the first clue how Bruce and Pumpany are thinking about it, but that's what I would assume.
Good talks, gentlemen. Listen, I'm excited about basketball season. Looks like we're going to be getting some buckets. It's good to see Janai Broome and Williams back. At least our front court looks to be stacked. They're going to be producing, hitting shots. I like it. We were happy about the backcourt. Our front court seems to be intact now. Let's get to some comments from you guys. Corey Dubb, good to have you with us, sir. He posts, if I can get it here. You got it? Okay. Cardwell posting, "I'm back" is like me announcing I'm back to work in the morning.
Listen, he could have gone overseas and played ball, right? Like Javon Quinterly came back. I don't think there was no one who assumed Javon Quinterly was going to go to the NBA, right? But he announced that he was coming back for another season. Dylan Cardwell coming back to Auburn as a collegiate athlete, he had a decision, and I have no doubt that he would have been able to play overseas. None whatsoever. He's a super athletic big, and he's 6'11". There just aren't a lot of guys that are that tall, 6'10", 6'11". I don't know which one it is. But anyway, there aren't a lot of guys that tall playing in overseas leagues that are going to be as athletic as he is. I think sometimes we forget how supremely athletic some of these guys are because we're comparing them to supremely athletic people. Right. And then when they go and they play against guys who aren't as athletic, you're like, where was all that? Well, it's harder to be supremely athletic when you're around other dudes who are similarly athletic.
Listen, he could ball in Israel.
Yeah.
We was like, did Dylan pick up some moves?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, listen, I agree with Corey, man. Go on and bring your ass back. Come on.
But again,
just stay
on. I think people are forgetting that the NBA is not the only route these young men can take. It's just not. And I just don't see Dylan Cardwell making that. No disrespect to Dylan. I don't see him making an NBA roster. Right. So he 100% could have gone overseas and got in the bag. Probably a bigger bag than NIL would have not netted him because he's not going to be a featured person at Auburn. Right. He loves the university, so that's why he's coming back. But he could have went overseas and balled out and got in the bag.
He might have gone down on the victory and been like, now y'all know if Janai get hurt, I'm your guy.
Well,
And they were like,
he's not gonna
good
do what
point.
Janai can do if Janai get hurt. It wasn't gonna matter.
No, right? But still, you know what I mean? Like,
You still need him though.
Yeah,
I
No,
want
he,
somebody
he-
to defend.
he is an
Rick-
essential piece to this team for sure.
Yeah, listen,
I'm
he
hoping
filled in
he
some
gets
good
more
minutes last year. Like,
I'm hoping he
at
gets more
points.
minutes this year.
Yeah,
Actually,
he filled in some good minutes. I mean, I don't think he had no leverage. You know, I just think it was. Yeah, I think that this was still a likely outcome for him to return. I guess is where I'm at with Corey. Like, yeah, he had options, but this was still a likely outcome. So, not shocked either way.
Has he finished his degree yet?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't think
right?
he was part of the graduation ceremony this last time. So maybe he just wants to finish out his degree too. Like, look, free school, bro.
Hey, finish it up.
Yeah,
I remember what's his name, Brian Scalabrine. People were always talking. He's the former pro player. He played for the Celtics for a little bit. Played for another couple teams, and people was clowning him and challenging them. And he went to a gym and gave whoever wanted to challenge him the realest work ever. Just like 10-0. It was just crazy.
He's quoted as saying, "I'm closer to LeBron than you are to me."
He sound closer to Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan. Okay, excuse me.
Than you are to me. And that's just an alert because I saw some footage today of Boogie Cousins down in Puerto Rico looking like the league MVP, which is crazy because the last time I saw him on an NBA court, he was washed. Which means I think we're so used to seeing NBA players be great that we don't have any conception of just how good the guys who aren't good enough to get starting minutes in the NBA, how much better they are than regular people. They're still insane athletes and incredibly skilled basketball players.
For sure. Pass says, FYI, NCAA did send out Final Four ticket information today. Coincidence? Already speaking it. Already making the connections there. Obviously, we feel good about this team. Already feel good about this team. I think it's maybe a little bit too early to talk about.
A little premature, right? Yeah,
a little premature, but I do feel like this team can go further than it has the past 2 seasons for sure. They got the ability. I'm eager to see what it looks like when the coaching staff puts it all together and they take the court. So
yeah, for sure.
James Barnett, appreciate you being with us, sir. He posts or comments, I don't understand the panic, and he's referring to all of the shuffling and the portal news and waiting on people to commit and all this sort of thing. I don't understand the panic. Bruce Pearl knows what he's doing, just as he Freeze knows as well. Basketball and football teams will compete this year. Bank it.
Yeah, I don't doubt that they'll compete. I think that like some of the, consternation was over the lack of shooting that Auburn has had and the lack of finding shooters.
Yeah.
So, people want to see him fill those holes. And then I think whatever, apprehensiveness people have will go away.
I think most of that too was about Janai Broome, if anything else, right? Like people were worried about whether or not Janai would return and how good this team could be without him. I wasn't as concerned as to whether or not we could be competitive with Janai Broome, but we are definitely a better basketball team with him. That's just, I don't know that anybody is going to turn down a guy who was second team All SEC last year.
Is he the best returning big in the SEC this year?
If Oscar Tshiebwe does not return, then I would say yes.
8th year.
He's already in the draft though, isn't he?
He could still, I think today is the last day that they can declare that they're coming back. So if he does not return, I would say Janai Broome is hands down the best center returning next year.
Hands down.
I mean, who else? I mean, the kid from Vanderbilt's not going to be there.
Was Tshiebwe underwhelming last year a little bit though?
He was hurt for the first portion of the season, and then when they got back into the season, he was still the guy, but I think that they had found a rhythm without him, so he wasn't as big a focal point when he came back. But he was still a double-double machine last year.
Yeah. I was looking for a reason to say he sucks, but you took that.
Oh no. Tshiebwe still he's nice. He's still nice. But see, if you think about bigs around the league returning, Betty Yako's not coming back for Bama. The kid, I can't think of his name for South Carolina, is not going to be back. Florida doesn't have Castleton coming back. Vanderbilt doesn't have the kid coming back for them. Like, there's just not another big that was dominant last year that's going to be returning. What is the kid from Mississippi State coming back? I can't think of what his name is.
Didn't A&M have a big
Tutu or two? I forgot. A&M did not have a. I mean, he was pretty good. He was not better than Janai. But yeah. So I don't know. I think Janai, in my opinion, hands down the best guy that's coming back. So.
Monty, he says, I personally would love to see Dylan Cartwell start at center and Janai Broome to start at power forward. I just want to see how it will work.
I am not
Brooks play around the
against
lineup?
this idea. The only problem I would see presented with this is what do you do at the 3, right? Like I don't think Jalen Williams is fleet of foot enough to cover a wing player.
He has to come off the bench.
So that would mean you push Jalen to the bench, right? And then what do you do rotationally? Again, I think Jalen makes sense to come and be a backup 4 if you're going to do that. Your starting lineups, though, you can't play. I don't know that you can play a lot of man defense with that as your starting lineup.
Right.
And they're going to want to play a lot of press man with the way that we're going to be constructed. So I think Dylan Cartwell is a good 5. I don't know that because of how the roster is constructed, he would make a lot of sense starting alongside Janai, unless Janai is going to be better at shooting from, again, that 15 plus. If he's going to be better at the 15 plus, then it works. But Cardwell can't shoot, right? Yeah. Not from distance. So you clog up the paint with having 2 bigs that are going to be post dominant. Right. You could play pick and roll with Cardwell in that scenario, but again, you'd want Janai to be good from the dunker in the 15 plus in that, and that's why Jay will work so well in that, because he can be good from 15 plus range. So I just don't know that the floor spacing works with Cardwell in the starting lineup. You could play them both at the same time, but again, you're going to have to play a lot of zone with that. So
yeah.
Jazzy Joe, good to have you with us, Jazzy. He says, I'm ready for the Auburn versus Ole Miss in both football and basketball. Are they our third hated rival now?
I mean, I hate them a lot, but
I don't think so. I think we've just been football. We've been underwhelming enough the last 2 years so that Ole Miss looks competitive with us. But just historically and realistically, Ole Miss ain't smelling us in football. It's just that we've been bad enough to let them get close to thinking that they were, and we tried to take their coach, right? So it looks like, hey, we want what y'all got. No, we don't. We want what we got with somebody better running it. So again, if y'all were here when we were talking about the Lane Kiffin rumors, I was a nay, and a couple of us were a nay. I'm so glad we didn't get him. We got the better guy. Yes, a former Ole Miss guy, but I don't care. Y'all got Lane Kiffin. I am very much looking forward to riding the scales this fall, especially with the Ole Miss game at the very least. Basketball, listen, Chris Beard's a good coach. Wes Flanagan is a good coach. I don't know what they can be. I don't know what their roster looks like. Basketball, another story. They can reset basketball and get good very quickly, because that can happen to basketball. Football, we got to write those scales. It's time to turn history the right way. In the Ole Miss, it's not a rivalry. It should be a beat down, and they should be an afterthought. And hopefully that's what it looks like this fall.
Yeah, I mean, but I still hate them a lot. But the stench of broken ugly is just all over him. So
it's just anytime we get to troll Lane Kiffin it's Christmas for me.
Yeah, but it is going to be. I think it's going to be interesting to see what that matchup. If we're going to play him twice, then it's going to be super interesting to see Alan Flanagan twice next year. And it's going to be interesting to see kind of, is there any bad blood at all, right? Like, was that locker room tense at all about Flanagan moving over to a rival, right? Like, is there going to be any tension in that? Or is it going to be one of those, I hate to kill you as my brother, but I'm going to have to dunk on you real quick type of things?
I think we'll be talking trash at each other.
His dad went down there, like, I mean, this feels. I mean, the Flanagan thing feels too wholesome for them to be a real bad blood.
I don't know about like from a coaching standpoint, it might be. I'm saying the players, maybe, I don't know, but I don't know that Alan Flanagan is going to get the same kind of feel as Wes Flanagan, coaching down there is going to get the same kind of feel as Golden in Florida, where it was like, oh, we were like brothers. It's like, I don't know if we like brothers no more, right? So yeah, it might feel good.
The first time Janai takes Flanagan down there on the block and scores and does the too little. see what Flanagan do after that.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see if he does that, man. Like, I got mixed feelings about this, right? Like I do. Or, if they come to Auburn, does Flanagan get a standing ovation when he comes out?
I think so.
I would
so.
stand and
I
applaud
would
for
stand and
Aiden.
applaud him.
I would
Yeah.
think so.
I
would
just
think
hope
so.
that every dunk attempt he has, he gets hung.
Yeah,
Yeah.
listen, we love you, but I want to see you fail.
Yeah.
Right? Like, especially when you play Auburn. So
Yeah,
yeah.
just
I mean, I get it.
Listen, jump out the gym, get up there for the dunk, but then get hung on the rim. Like I want it to be like, oh man, he can still jump. Oh, too bad.
Yeah, I mean, listen, he can dunk it as long as it's one of the 4 points that he gets for the whole night. That's
Or if
fine
it's
with
like
that.
at the end of the game and it don't really matter anymore. It's like, okay, you can have that.
Yeah. Like he went, like Mike, he went 2 for 10. Okay, you can give him a dunk after that.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Brian says, Ike, tell me you're going to drop some film and I'll share some memberships.
Oh, you might as well go ahead and share them bad boys then, because that film is coming, my guy. It's coming. I've got so much film. Tomorrow you will be getting more of it. So yes.
Corey Weber says by midseason, Aiden takes over Trey's starting role.
We'll see. So what I anticipate potentially happening with this is we might get into a starter closer type of thing again with the rotation where one of them starts and the other one is the guy that they anticipate being the closer. Now, how that rotation works on starter closer is really going to come down to early season. Who does Bruce Pearl trust with the ball in their hands the most? Because we have enough scorers where it shouldn't rest on the point guard being a creator. And Trey Donaldson has proven that he can hit open shots in big moments. So I don't think that Bruce lacks trust in him and his confidence. So I think it's going to be more of a starter closer type of thing. One of the guys starts and then the other one's going to close. And we'll see, what that looks like. If Aiden comes in and he's just a dynamic, you can't stop him from scoring guy, I don't know how you keep him on the bench. Yeah. But I just like the moxie of Trey Donaldson, man. He isn't scared at any moment. From what I've seen him at the collegiate level is more of a facilitator. So he's a guy who can get other people involved. And because he can knock down open shots off the ball, he's a guy that doesn't need to be ball dominant to impact the game.
Hey, so, I'm feeling Tourney Trey though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Nice. That tournament Trey is, but that guy, tournament Trey, wasn't a guy who was trying to like take people off the dribble, go get his own shot. It was one little step back three, right? But everything else was in the rhythm of the game. He was getting other people involved. He's more of a drive and dish kind of guy. And a facilitator like that, if he can hit his free throws, is a guy you want at the end of games because he can take all the contact necessary and he can get everybody else involved. And you can get Denver Jones the ball at the end of the game, let him create. And Trey is a good spot up shooter on the opposite side. So it's going to be interesting to see early season. If Aiden Holloway proves to be a dynamic scorer, I would agree with this, but we'll see.
Stuart Donald says Final Four is in Arizona this year. The desert has been good to us in the past.
Yeah, I'm going.
It has.
I'm going home. So make it. Bruce Pearl, make it there.
Ephesians 2:8 verses 8 through 9 says, got my mug this morning. Thank you guys. Awesome. Good stuff there. Lawrence says Jalen would get a quiet 12 points. I need him to get allowed 15 to 17 points per game.
Would be nice. Would be real nice.
If he was in the 15 to 17 points per game and Janai Broome comes back and and he elevates to a 20 point per game guy, getting what would we just say? Let's say 15, right? So getting 35 from your starting 4 and 5, knowing how much scoring we have on the rest of that starting 5, look out.
Especially if it's in the post. That means there's going to be
and
some
if we can
guys.
play defense even remotely close. Like last year, we were, a mid-60s defensive team. That next year, I don't know that we're going to be that good defensively yet to see like anything that looks shut down from that standpoint. Probably pushing the tempo a little bit more. But if we're a team that is holding teams to the high 60s, low 70s, but we can score 75, 80 points a game, that's a tough team to be able to beat, man.
Yeah.
So
Wesley Hilson says, can we talk about that 9:30 kickoff in week 2? My poor liver.
It's gonna be
my goodness.
It's gonna be a long day. Let's just say it's gonna be a long day.
Man. 9:30 Central, right? I think is the time.
Yeah.
Yikes, man. It's gonna be so brutal. It reminds me of that LSU game. Was it last year or
And
the
that
year
started
before?
at 8.
Year before last.
Yeah, I mean, we were
Or was it
easily
last
up
year they
till like
started that late?
1 o'clock in the morning.
It was the
It was the year before.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's the game I was at. Yeah.
Yeah. We were easily up till 1 in the morning. It was so awful.
Are we even we're gonna do post game for a game that ends at like 1 a.m.?
Yes, man.
We're gonna
Listen.
feel like NBA on TNT, how they be up. Show starts at 1.
Listen, let me tell you. I just want to go home and listen. Let me tell you. Let me tell you. That's it. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all y'all gonna hear me say.
It's gonna
Eyes
be
rolling.
rough. It's gonna be rough.
For sure. All right, you've been watching the midweek report, courtesy of auburnsports.com. Guys, you already know what to do. Share this video, smash that like button, and subscribe if you're new to the channel. We're going to say peace out to our Facebook group as we go to the break, but you can join us. The link is already there. Come over to the YouTube world. We will continue the conversation about the over and under win totals for the SEC West. Let's pay some bills and acknowledge our show sponsors.
This edition of the War Report is made possible by our generous sponsors. AuburnSports.com. For news and notes on all things Auburn sports, head over to AuburnSports.com. Athletic Architects. For young athletes looking to secure their financial future, let Athletic Architects help you to build your financial house. Head over to BuildTheHouse.com. And our giveaway sponsor, War Eagle Oil. War Eagle Oil is your #1 place for all of your motor oil and related products. For more information, visit WarEagleOil.com.
Thank you to all of the sponsors of the War Report. Thank you to those of you who are sponsoring us in your own way by being members. Monthly membership helps us a lot in continuing to bring you this great content. We want you guys to be a part of the Green Name Gang. So go ahead and hit that join button. As there's a lot of you guys doing this today, gifting memberships. Shout out to those of you who have already done this. Jazzy Joe, Wesley Hilson, and Brian Hancher all gifted memberships. Auburn Dad gifting memberships to people. A lot of gifted memberships popping up today. We appreciate those of you who have been willing to let somebody else get a month of War Report Insider content on you. So we appreciate all of that, man. You guys continue to support us in the most amazing ways, and it's very appreciated. Hashtag get your weight up right now in the live chat if you want to get one of these War Report mugs. The cup of greatness is available to you. We'll do that drawing right here around the 1 hour mark. And just so you guys know, if the rivalry between us and Ole Miss gets a little too heated, you can always head over to Harmon Mechanical. HarmonMechanical.com is your place for heating and air. Head over there if you're in the Auburn area, and you can get your HVAC system checked out. 334-219-0717 is the number to call and set up that consultation. They'll come out, take a look at your HVAC system, recommend whatever you need to do to get that in order. The summer is upon us. It's time to get that set up properly because you want to be watching the games this fall for Auburn in a good place where you're not feeling like you're about to sweat too much, even though, you know, it's Auburn. We're going to be sweating during games because that's just how they like to do us. But Harmon Mechanical have you set up. And also make sure you check us out on podcast, the Auburn Express. We got that pod only content, that audio only content popping off over there for y'all. Muted. You're muted, see. Yeah.
Jazzy says y'all better get out to Cali for that game. And he calls you out, Mike.
I'll be there.
You know the deal.
Yeah,
we kicks off at 7.
We're gonna go down. Yeah, we'll meet up. I'll be there. If anybody else is gonna be there, I'm gonna be there. It's gonna be fun.
Nice. Yeah. So there'll be some representation there. Don't you worry, Jazzy. We got you. Guys, let's get to it. Let's talk about the SEC West. The over and under. Is there a team we want to start with first?
I mean, we could go in order of least expected wins to most expected wins, but there are a lot kind of tied. So
is that Mississippi State?
We'll go Mississippi State.
All right. Well, let's do.
Oh crap! That ain't right. Continue. I'll get
next
team.
Next team.
Yeah.
No, all of them are gonna be like that because I didn't do the bet. But yeah, continue. I'll get it straight over here.
Okay. All right. Well,
Mississippi State. Though. Keep rolling.
Mississippi State. What are we thinking?
Okay.
As
So
Ike does some
real quick, while Ike is doing that, Mississippi State 87-66 was their opponent record last year. So their opponents had a 56% win percentage. Their current schedule is ranked 27th. So they have the 27th ranked schedule in the country right now as we speak today. Now, there are a number of SEC teams that are ranked, in the top 25. Mississippi State is kind of middle in there. Like, I mean, if you play in the SEC, you've got, there's like a 75% chance you have a top 25 schedule.
Yeah,
that's how tough the conference is. So Mississippi State is a little bit on the low end, right just outside the top 25, but they are in the SEC West. So the fact that their schedule rank is this low, I think has more to do with their non-conference. I know Ike is about to pull that up. Yeah, so the 27th ranked schedule in the country is Mississippi State. And, these guys are playing with a new coach. They're playing with a new coach this year. Again, I have questions about how they might rally around the memory of Mike Leach this year, what kind of continuity they will have in terms of system. But they do return Will Rogers, who should be one of the better quarterbacks in conference next year.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how they handle their schedule, man. And, having a veteran quarterback return, I think definitely helps you quite a bit. This will be his third year starting. Is this his third straight year starting?
Third year.
Yeah.
This is third
Right.
year.
Yeah, man. Listen, 3-year starters in the SEC are hard to come by, especially if they're good.
They opened up against Southeastern Louisiana. That's in Starkville. They play Arizona. That's also at home. First 3 games of the season, they're at home. But Arizona is week 2. LSU is week 3. Then they go on the road to South Carolina. Then Ike is pulling it up now. Let's see. Yeah. Is that right? I don't know if I'm looking at the right. Am I looking at the right schedule? Okay. So I see LSU. Is LSU on there?
Let's see.
I'm on Mississippi State's website.
Let me just not do this right now.
Okay. So there. Okay. So Southeastern Louisiana, Arizona, LSU, South Carolina, Alabama. So the non-conference is this: Southeastern Louisiana,
Win.
Arizona,
Win.
Western Michigan,
Win.
and Southern Miss.
Win. So they'll get the 4 wins. Cool.
So they get the 4. So their cross interconference interdivision is, or the cross division opponent is South Carolina and Kentucky.
Those are pretty even matchups, honestly.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
so-
guys, I don't know.
And one is the road game is at South Carolina. The home game is against Kentucky.
I think there's a better chance of them winning that Kentucky home game than winning that South Carolina road game. So I'm gonna put them at 5 wins between their out of conference and their cross divisional.
Yeah, I'm going to take the under here.
So we're saying, hold on. So you don't think they're going to beat anybody in the West, is what you're saying? I think they beat Ole Miss.
You just put them at 5 wins.
They beat Ole Miss too.
I was saying so far, based on what Caesar has called out.
Okay. I was like, you just put them at 5 wins. You got to beat them anyway.
I think I got them.
Yeah, man. I don't know.
I'm gonna take the under
this
here.
is a 25th ranked schedule.
I'm gonna take the under here for me.
I'm gonna take the under. I think they're a 6-win football team.
I think they split that South Carolina, Kentucky. They split one of the. They could get. I don't know. They could get Arkansas.
Yeah,
that's a road game.
I
Though.
don't see it, man. I just don't know, man.
Ole Miss though, for some reason, Ole Miss tends to lay an egg in that game. See what I did there? I got them in the under. What about you, B?
I'm taking the under here. I think
can see
they get the 6 wins.
I think they can beat Kentucky at home, and I think they can beat Ole Miss at home. But man, somebody who we think is going to be decent is not going to be decent. I know Arkansas is like, oh man, they got Arkansas. So I'm thinking about the coaching situation. We know Mike Leach isn't there. Will Rogers being the experienced senior that he is, that counts for a lot. That counts for a lot. You have people there who've been running the system already. Now, the things I still don't know is, are they matching Mike Leach's system? Who is their offensive coordinator? Is there enough continuity there in scheme and in thought for them to just pick up and go? Because an experienced quarterback can pick up the slack there if you got a new scheme, or excuse me, if you got a scheme that's similar to what he used to run. But they did lose some playmakers. They lost some playmakers. They lost some talent on defense. So if Arnett is a talented defensive coach,
running back, receiver,
running back, at least one receiver. If their head coach, who was their former DC, if this team is going to take on the identity of the head coach, then that means they're going to be a very good defensive team. I believe in their ability to be competitive in a lot of these games. But man, it's the question, like offense. What are they doing I have no idea what they're doing. And if they're changing system, I see Kobe Ritchie saying they're running a pro style offense.
I heard they were going away from air raid.
Man, I don't know.
I heard it, and I don't know what that means. We talk about their quarterback, but all he's ever played in has been an air raid type of offense. That's why he fits so well with what Mike Leach does. I don't know what he looks like this year.
Under.
He may be fine.
Under.
But I'm going with the under to be safe here.
Yeah. Nothing. If it's not air raid or if not schematically tied to air raid, then I think that's a lack of continuity. And I have, over the last 3 seasons, I've seen continuity mean so much, for continuity with the same players coming back, the same coaching system and scheme. You change too much of that, and I don't like it. So new coach, new offense, even with the same quarterback, I think they lose too many. I got them at 6 solid, right at 6. Bowl eligible, but under that 6.5.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, under.
Yeah, because you've been so here.
That's Mississippi State, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I'm trying to get these daggone graphics together, man.
I feel you. All good. Let's go to the next team. Let's talk about Arkansas.
Arkansas.
I'm gonna see if I got this one right. Let's see if we got this one right. Does that look right for y'all?
That's right.
Yeah,
all right, here we go.
We'll go with that one. Yeah.
Okay, so Arkansas, right?
They play BYU and BYE. Oh, that's crazy.
Okay, so this is the 50th ranked schedule in the country. Their opponents were combined 83 and 68 with 55% win percentage. And yeah, so this is one of the lower ranked schedules in the conference, per every national ranking system. 50th ranked schedule in the country, tied with Pitt.
So did they get revenge on BYU?
Yes.
Who's the quarterback?
Same
for Arkansas?
Cam Newton Jr. Cam
Yeah,
Newton Jr.
Still KJ Jefferson.
Is it still KJ Jefferson?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, he came back.
Interesting.
Yeah, he needed to come back with the.
I don't know
QBs
why I
in the
thought he
draft.
was gone. For some reason I get him and Anthony Richardson messed up in my mind.
Because both of them are supposed to be Cam Newton.
Oh, overrated QBs. Okay, so I think I want them to get revenge on BYU.
7 wins though. Like, where do they get 7 in this schedule is the question.
So let's
Carolina
they got
State.
They got to win 8. They got to win 8 to hit the over.
Yeah, I'm just saying though. Like, are they going to get to 7? Is my question.
I think they get Mississippi State.
So they start out 2-0.
Oh, do they get Florida? Okay, they get FIU. So I see 4. I see 4 here.
They're out of conferences 4 easy. So
yeah.
Oh, so you're giving them BYU pretty solidly?
BYU's not good. They weren't good last year.
They lost.
I don't know.
Still,
They did.
Right. I mean, that doesn't mean nothing.
But that's why, I really believe in that next year revenge home game.
Yeah, but is Arkansas better than they were?
But even if you give them that game, they got to get 4 after that.
Who's their offensive coordinator?
Did Browse leave?
Yeah, he went to TCU.
Yeah, he's done. He's on.
Continuity. Drink, John.
I mean, listen, depending on what kind of mess or not mess Texas A&M is, I might possibly give them that game. Right?
They got a competent OC. I can't give nobody Texas A&M now. I hate to say it. I really hate to say it.
Yeah, so 1, 2, maybe 3, 4,
Maybe
5,
Mississippi State.
6. I mean, I don't know if they even get to 7.
Yeah,
man.
I'm going the under on this one.
Yeah, they might get a push, but I would go under.
Yeah, I'll go under.
Yeah, I'm going under here too.
At LSU. I hate that playing LSU so early. That was usually like a classic November game. LSU and Arkansas was always a competitive game. I don't know
Yeah,
why they put
listen,
that in
man. I
September.
mean, everybody's going to complain about them, playing FIU in November, right? But ultimately, a lot of these teams need a break come November. I don't know, man. Listen, if Florida, I don't know when that Florida game. They're not dates by these, so I don't know when the Florida game falls. But that's not a terrible November slate for them.
No,
Florida, Auburn, FIU.
Yeah,
That's
if they
not.
were going to close the year strong, like that's right now as we are right now, that's not a terrible.
The Missouri
November slate.
Arkansas game, that's a weird game for them too.
Yeah, I mean, listen, let's be honest, right? Where Auburn stands currently, they bring this strength of schedule down for Arkansas, right? Missouri, again, their defense should be good, but offensively, maybe has some questions. FIU, obviously, Florida, again, we rated them last Wednesday and all agree. I think everybody took the under on them.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that if they were going to go on a run and close the season strong, is a pretty good November slate for them to do so if they get some things together. So, I'm still taking the under because I don't know, man. It could. Oh man.
Philip Coleman says Arky's OC is Dan Enos.
I do not know who that is.
Whoever that is.
Yeah.
I mean, their DC is T. Will, right? So maybe their defense is going to be decent, but
Yeah,
And that it was terrible last year. The defense was terrible last year. So that's an improvement. But losing Kendall Browse, I think, is a loss. So
I mean, so if they're not going to run an offense that's going to be similar to what Browse was running, where they're going to have a lot of read option for KJ Jefferson and they're going to be spreading it out. I mean, they're still going to have a good run game because KJ's a good runner and they've got good running backs. But I just don't know what the pass game is going to look like for them next year. And yeah, I don't know if you're going to get to 7 wins and not being able to throw the ball. I don't know, man. I can't see it right now. I'm going to take the under.
It may be a potential push. They could get Missouri. They could possibly get Missouri, but I'm going to go under here.
I think they could get Missouri, Florida, or considering the condition of Mississippi State's offense, Mississippi State.
But that only gets them to 7, though. I just don't know how do
Yeah.
you get to the 8th win there. Okay, so Lawrence says Enos ran a zone read system at Georgia Tech with his dual threat quarterback. So, okay. I mean, if it's a similar system to what he's already accustomed to running, then
all right, that's not bad. That's not bad then.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go under as well, but I would expect 7 is what they would actually win.
yeah, I think this
6
is
or
a
7.
good number. I think
But
7 is a good number for them. A push would probably be the most likely happening, but I'll have to go under for our purposes here.
Yeah.
All right. Shall we go? We can save Auburn for. Do you want to save Auburn for last? Since we.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I say them for last.
Texas A&M.
Texas A&M.
See what y'all talking about. 7.5.
7.5. Okay, let's see here. So,
Ooh,
Texas A&M has the 22nd ranked schedule in the country, tied with Wake Forest. Their opponents were combined 87 and 64 for 57.6 win percentage last year. This is the 27th ranked schedule in the country. So again, they're sitting right outside the top 25 with Mississippi State.
Oh, they got to get to 8.
man, no.
I don't know how they get to 8 with this, bro. Like seriously.
Okay, I'm gonna give. Okay, New Mexico.
They could start out 3-0.
I'm gonna give them. I'm gonna give them Miami.
They might start out 3-0.
Even though it is a road game, I'm gonna give them Miami.
Yikes.
3-0. They get Auburn.
I mean, I'm not willing to pick anybody against Auburn right now until I see what's up. So I'm just gonna put that as a maybe on the schedule. But then
I don't know, man. Arkansas, Alabama, Tennessee, South Carolina, Ole Miss is a tough stretch.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
Yeah,
And
like,
then
ooh.
they're gonna end with LSU. So, like, if you give them the first 3 and Abilene Christian, They have to win 4 more games out of this. So you
Yeah.
got to get
Mississippi
4
State.
wins
Is
between
this gonna
Auburn,
be? I mean,
Arkansas,
Mississippi
Alabama,
State.
Tennessee, South Carolina, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, LSU. They've got 8 games to win 4. They got to split that.
I see 6.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm gonna go.
6.
I'm gonna go with the under here. Even if you give them a surprise win, they get to 7, but they're
I
still
don't
under
know
7.5.
how they get.
So
to 8
let me
with
ask
this
you
schedule.
guys this: How many does Jimbo need to win this year?
He needs to win 7 or 8.
He needs to win 15 to make up for what he hadn't won yesterday, last year, and the year before that. So
Hilarious.
With this new offensive system that they're gonna have with gosh, man, can they put up enough points? Because so teams I don't believe in defensively right now is the question, really, because I think Texas A&M is still going to have they've got too much talent to just be bad,
Right.
but they're going to need some stellar offensive play. So teams I don't believe in defensively right now. I don't know if Arkansas is going to have it together early enough. South Carolina has been so-so on defense. Ole Miss has been so-so on defense. Mississippi State's they probably will be better defensively, and they get them later in the year when they will have figured it out. LSU's going to have I don't know about 8 wins, man. Like even if we take the homer out of it and we say they start 4-0 by beating us, they still have to win 4 more games than that, and they're only got 1 other guaranteed win on their schedule with Abilene. That means they got to win 3 of the rest of them. I don't know if they get 3 more wins out of that.
Is that Arkansas game? Is that a neutral field? It says at Arkansas, but they have played them in Texas, I believe, for that game. So that's a neutral field. That's not a road game. So that's a maybe.
It's not a home game, but still.
This is discouraging because I'm trying. I want to just crap on Jimbo's chances this season, but
it's discouraging because you can't crap on him.
Yes, because they have some talent. What they lost was a glut of talent, but they still have more talent than
who's going to be the running back?
Arkansas. They got some 5-star kid, freshman in the high school. So they at least got.
So they're going to start the freshman?
One bell with a back. I mean, running back's the one place where you usually can. I don't know if they will, but
I mean, the way Petrino like to throw the ball, I mean, hey, who knows?
Wegman actually looked competent. Like this,
Connor Wegman's a decent quarterback,
right? With a decent OC,
and he's got some good wide receivers.
I don't know what their offensive line looks like. That's really the big question. I don't know how good their offensive line is.
That is actually going to be the biggest question of all of this, right? Because Wegman, as talented as he is not a runner. So if they're not going to block it up for him, it's not going to matter very much.
Wait, isn't the guy who started last year, Brad Johnson's kid? What's his name?
Yeah,
he's still there.
Yeah,
both of them were competent.
Yeah, but he's not a runner still. He's even worse under pressure.
Max Johnson.
Yeah, Max Johnson. Even worse under. And but the other kid left. But Haynes King is gone. But I don't know, man.
The worst quarterback of the 3 left, and the one who for some reason got the starting nod over.
But Haynes King was the best runner of the 3.
He was. But what I'm saying is, Bobby Petrino, a good offensive coach who wants to pass.
All I'm saying is, if the offensive line sucks, none of that's going to matter. None of it's. I don't care how good an X and O coach you are. If you don't have a good offensive line, none of that will matter.
We thought that about us, and look what we did. Now we had a running quarterback,
but we had a running quarterback.
We did. I don't want to put it past Bobby Petrino to make something out of nothing, because no matter what,
which is why I think they can get to 7.
Okay, are we all going to give him Miami? Are we going to give him Miami?
And by the way, Jaquan Grant, appreciate that. He says Arkansas did beat BYU last season. I think we thought BYU was
they
win.
came.
I think
they came back. That's right.
That means Arkansas is going to lose that game probably then.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have no faith in BYU to stop anybody either. So.
Yeah, I'm going the under on this one, man. Like
I'm going to go under here. But that's going to be interesting to see then. If we think that I mean, obviously they can surprise us here. But if they go under, I'm curious to see what happens to Jimbo.
I say over.
Yeah, I mean with Petrino, listen, they're going to be running like
over. So you got them winning 8.
Yeah, I don't know.
Who's your 8? Who's your 8?
New Mexico, Miami, UL Monroe. I can't give a must yet. We might actually be really good. Arkansas. Too much change, and I don't think they have enough talent that returned off of a medium talented team. Arkansas wasn't even that talented. Arkansas will make 4 wins, not Alabama, not Tennessee.
South Carolina?
Maybe. Is that at home? South Carolina. How many is that? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ole Miss 6. Mississippi State 7. Abilene Christian 8. Yep. There we go.
All right. Listen,
I don't believe in Ole Miss, so I mean.
Yeah, Petrino's going to be running with that crash and dash offense. So, like, there'll be a lot of people who are cheerleading them to get pretty far in the schedule, but like I just don't see it, man. I know he's a great offensive coordinator. He's a great mind, but like
I think they get 2 more. They get 2 more wins than they did last year, but I'm going under.
Yeah, I mean, this is more about my belief in their opponents than it is. I just think that stretch where you go Arkansas, Alabama, Tennessee, South Carolina, Ole Miss, man, the season can come off the rails in that stretch.
Yeah, and the thing that you absolutely will have to worry about with that Texas A&M team is they've got a lot of young talent on that team.
Yep.
And if it gets bad, those young players might check out.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man. Like
that's true.
This thing could get bad mid-season, right? And then you got to end it with LSU. So, like, I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if they went 0-5 from Arkansas to Ole Miss.
From Arkansas, you think Arkansas is that good?
I'm just not sold. I mean, like I said, it's not about. I don't really think, not with Arkansas. I don't think it's about how good they are. I don't know, man. Like until I've seen it, I don't know, man. They've just underwhelmed so much. Yeah, like I can't.
This is a good one from for A&M too, because they could get 8.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
They could,
man.
but I'm
these
going
schedules
under.
are brutal, dude. These schedules we're looking at are brutal.
Yeah. Ike, what did you have? Under?
Yeah, I'm gonna go the under. I don't know how they get to
there. You go,
on
smart
this.
man.
They're going to have to beat some teams that they probably should not beat to get there. So I don't know how they get to that.
Yeah, I don't see it right now, but again, I'm sure we'll be eating some kind of crow on some of these.
We'll see.
When the season gets here.
We'll see. But we also need to see who's going to win this mug, courtesy of War Eagle Oil. Hashtag get your weight up in the comments to enter the win. We got to go, guys, because we got 4 more teams to discuss. Draw it.
Yeah, you already know I'm on the trigger, baby. Let's get to it. Somebody's got to win a mug. Who is it going to be? The winner.
Damn, Moultrie.
There you go. He's been here tonight. We've been seeing him commenting. Let us know, though.
Yeah.
Let us know for sure. Let me grab this real here. Auburn Dad for Life says putting lipstick on a pig doesn't make a pretty pig.
Wait, who's the pig here? Is it
Arkansas?
I think he was talking about A&M actually with the upgrade at OC.
Well, that's not lipstick. Better coaching on one side of the ball that's a full makeover right there.
I probably shouldn't even say this, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Did y'all speaking of lipstick on a pig? Did y'all see when Lil Boosie was on this podcast recently and he was talking about wanting to have another baby?
Yeah, no. I did.
Did you hear the euphemism that he gave for sex in that?
No.
Yeah.
He said,
I can't believe we're talking about this.
Yeah. You'll go look it up yourself. I ain't gonna say it. Look it. I was just like, that's the most country euphemism I've ever heard for sex, but it is so accurate. But yeah.
There he goes.
Daniel is here. Congratulations, good sir. If you've been watching the show, you already know what to do, but we're going to tell you anyway. Email us, business@the-war report. Physical address. That mug will be coming your way. As always, we appreciate you for supporting. Congratulations. Now, who's next?
Next up, the next highest is, it's like 8, I guess now. It would be Ole Miss, 7.5 as well.
Ole Miss.
Broken Ugly.
Okay, so Broken Ugly has got the 4th ranked schedule in the country, 4th ranked strength of schedule in the country. Their opponents last year they're number 4. Their opponents were combined 95 and 58 last year, so they won 62.1% of their games.
They're playing Georgia, Bama, and LSU.
LSU,
right?
Yeah,
that's where they're getting it from.
We do that every year. What is this about?
Yeah.
But they have to play us and we have to play them. So we up theirs and they lower ours. So
Yeah. I
You're
mean,
right about that. Look at that out of conference. Mercer, Tulane, Georgia Tech, and UL Monroe. Man, come on, man.
yeah.
How is this the fourth hardest in a matter?
Well, they also have to go to Georgia and they have to go to Bama. Both
Right.
of them are home games for us. So that's probably increasing their strength of schedule in that regard.
for sure. Georgia Tech has the 37th ranked schedule. I'm not sure that matters in terms of, but like,
Under. Unequivocally under.
3,
1, 2. So Mercer, Tulane, we
like
give them
this.
4.
the broke boys. Yeah.
Broke boys.
6, 3.
I like that.
Not going that one. Not
They
going that
gotta
one.
get
Not going
3
that.
more.
Not going at that one.
Ooh,
I'm going under.
Vanderbilt.
let's see. 1, 2,
UL
3.
Monroe.
I wonder how much of that
Mississippi
Tulane
State.
team is coming back.
Broke it under. I
I've
like
got,
that, baby.
I've got to go under on this one too, man.
Shoot.
God,
I think they
Like,
get to 7, but I think that's the most that they'll get is 7.
Yeah.
the schedules are brutal, man.
7
Like,
to 5. You
I
know,
mean-
you know, Kiffin's gonna fourth down his way out of a few wins. So you got to go 7
for sure. For them, again, I think Alabama, LSU, Arkansas, Auburn is a pretty brutal stretch, and because they got to come to Auburn.
Agreed.
I think it's a
Alabama,
brutal stretch.
LSU, Arkansas.
Yeah,
At least get the
Auburn,
bye week
yeah.
before they have to come here. But
Yeah,
goodness.
I think playing Auburn mid-season sucks for Lane Kiffin because if by that time Auburn has it rolling, somehow if they've got it going, that's a tough mid-season game. And then you still got Georgia on the schedule. You got the back-to-back defending national champs on the schedule, and then you have to go to Mississippi State. So, I mean, these road games, man, at Alabama, at Auburn, at Georgia, at Mississippi State, at Georgia Tech, that's why this is the fourth ranked schedule.
I don't like getting
They've
them
got
after a
5
bye,
away
though.
games.
Yeah,
And-
right.
and yeah.
I don't
Okay.
like getting them after a bye week, though.
Yeah, getting
I don't
Georgia
either.
and Alabama on the road in the same season, and then having to come to Jordan Air as well too, like, and then end at Mississippi. Yeah, like I mean, this is pretty tough.
This is a tough schedule.
Yeah.
I think they
again,
can go into their bye 3-3.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, right. Win 3,
They
lose
could.
3. Yeah, right.
They very well could.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you're saying that, then they've got to get 5 more wins somewhere on
Oh,
the
they could
back
be
end
2
of the
and 4.
bye.
Yeah, they could be 2 and 4 coming out of the stretch too. Like, this.
Oh yeah, Pete Golding's their DC. Oh yeah, under. I'll put that money down soon. Like by the end of the week, no question. Pete Golding out there underperforming with all them 5 stars. What you think he's gonna do with Ole Miss, man? Man, please.
Oh, that's hilarious,
This
bro.
is I completely forgot. I was
Oh.
thinking like I wonder if they got better defensively, but I forgot who their DC was last year. I completely forgot that dude with the okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this is under. This is
Yeah,
under.
I think couple Golden with 4th, and we're probably not gonna make it Kiffin, and like,
Mhm.
yeah,
That's
I mean
good.
this is
Yeah.
tough. Again, this is
I like
fourth
this. I
fourth
like this for
ranked
sure.
fourth hardest ranked schedule
Oh,
in the
yeah.
country. Yeah, I'm going under.
And you know what? It's not even about the strength of it, really, because if you played Georgia at home, Bama at home, and Auburn at home, I still like all those teams to beat Ole Miss because
It's still tough, but like
Yeah.
on the road, just kind of solidifies.
right. Those are definite losses.
Yeah,
especially
right,
after
yeah.
last year.
Yeah, I mean, I just think on the road, do I see them going into Alabama and getting the win this year? You know, maybe
No.
it's early because it's
No.
early in the season.
No.
But,
Lane
like,
Kiffin finds a way to fart that game away every single year.
Yeah,
Every year he finds a way to
fart.
like he has had Bama dead to rights and finds a way to fart that game away. Like he just does.
That's what he
All right.
does.
All right, so we all going under.
Yeah.
I'm going under.
Yeah.
The only person who's gone over so far has been B with A&M, correct?
Yes.
Right. I mean, we're in the West. I'm telling you, these schedules are difficult. They're really difficult.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, who's next on? Who we got next is.
LSU or Bama, whichever one.
It would be
Let's do LSU.
all right. LSU.
Okay. All right. So
My bad.
LSU, they are tied with Georgia
Oof.
for the easiest schedule in the SEC. The schedule rank is 63. Their opponents were combined 80 and 70 last year for a 53.3% win percentage.
80 and 70. And this is all these are based on what teams did last year. So that
Right.
really,
I mean, yeah, that's the only way you
Yeah.
can really rank it. Yeah, right. So they're projecting some combination of record and current ranking. But like, I mean, how many of these teams on their schedule currently are ranked?
Florida State will be.
Alabama
Ole Miss might be just because of
might
the
be.
lane.
They maybe have
tax,
3 ranked
yeah.
teams on the schedule.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
In the preseason.
Florida State's interesting.
Yeah, the first game of the season is Florida State's gotten a lot better talent-wise. The question is whether or not they're going to have enough continuity early to be able to put it together in that first
They
game.
lost this game in epic fashion last year, didn't they? Not?
Yeah, it was
LSU
kind of
did.
interesting.
Yeah.
They lost a couple starters like in the game, like 2 or 3 starters in the first game during the game. So, which is terrible when you got a new coach, new systems everywhere, and a bunch of new players from the transfer portal. Like that was really the worst case scenario for them. I bet they're going to be fired up to replay Florida State though. Like they go.
I don't know if this is actually at Florida State or if this is just a neutral
I think
site game.
it's neutral site. I think because the last one was neutral site, so I think this one probably is too.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I don't know.
It was,
They've
it
got
was
one-
new.
they've got
It
one
was
10 games.
neutral, B. Will, because I think they played that one in the Georgia Dome, if I'm not mistaken.
Or was
Not the Georgia Dome, but not the Georgia Dome, but the Superdome.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it was in Louisiana. Oh.
Yeah, I'm going to take the over on this one. I think they get 10.
I think they get 10 too.
Hmm.
I
I'll
think they
take
get
the
10
over.
too.
If
Mike.
they improve, they get 10. I mean, again, I can
I'm
see.
going- I'm going
Who are
over
you
here.
saying they're taking the L to? Florida State and Bama?
I think that
Either Florida State.
I don't think they beat Bama 2 years in a row.
I don't think they
and
beat
won
Bama.
to Bama.
I don't think they beat Bama. I think if they beat Florida State, I see them dropping like that inexplicable loss. I see that somewhere in the schedule somewhere.
it's not a terrible November. I mean, I'm telling you, as Novembers go for where they're at,
Yeah,
Florida State, Florida, Georgia State, Texas A&M is not a terrible November.
You could easily go Florida State though.
Army, they should win. Auburn, they probably will win.
Hey.
it being a road game, I'm gonna
Yeah, Missouri, like, you know, I don't know, man. Like, I could see 10 wins on the schedule. If I had to take it over here, I would take it on this
this
schedule.
would be the one I'd take. The over.
Yeah. This is the schedule.
Florida and
again,
Missouri. from
the
Someone
only
says it will be in Orlando. The game.
okay, so it's going to be closer to
neutral
Florida
site.
this time. But still, like, so I would say the games on that schedule that they would circle and say, okay, these are the toughest ones: Florida State, Bama, and then everybody else is going to be.
Yeah,
games
I mean,
they should win.
They should be favored. They're favored to win all those other games as of right now.
Yeah,
Right.
You know, now obviously that could change as the season goes
I
along.
think LSU's defense is going to be better this year, which is crazy. Offensively, they still have a ton of really good wide receivers in that room, and Jaden Daniels is coming back for another year. They're a good team, man. I just don't, I don't know what else to say about that other than the fact they're going to be good again next year. They've got a ton of talent on that team and air-conditioned helmets, so there's that.
Oh man, that did look cool. I ain't gonna lie, I was hating.
Yeah.
I was hating. Come on, Auburn. Whatever we gotta do, we need to get with it.
So you haven't said yet, B.
I want to. Every year, there's somebody who is way better than they have any business being, and there's also somebody who's way worse than they were supposed to be. I'm looking at this schedule, and I think there are 2 candidates for being way better than they're supposed to be: Auburn and Texas A&M. Those are the 2 SEC teams I think they could be better than anybody thinks they could be. With Auburn, you have no idea how good we can be because we got too many pieces that haven't been together before. Coach, coordinators, players, all that. With Texas A&M, of course, they still had a good talent base, and I think they brought in some talent there. I am looking at either one of those teams to get LSU along the way because the reason why is I don't think Jaden Daniels is an elite quarterback. I think he's good. And I think you can.
That's fair.
That's fair.
A very good defense can definitely stifle a good quarterback. If he's elite, again, what I saw happen to Watson in the championship game against Bama, and then the next game, he got stopped neither time. Those were excellent defenses for Bama, 2 of the best that they've had in the last 15 years. He's elite. It didn't matter. Elite players make up the difference. Jaden Daniels is not elite. They can be stopped. They can be stifled. But if I think that one of those teams, Auburn or A&M, will get them, what are the other two losses for them to be under?
So, I mean, I think that they're going to beat Florida State. As good as I think Florida State is going to be, I just don't know that they'll have it together that early in the season. And I believe in LSU's defense. And so I think that is what's going to be the difference maker there. So even if you give them one of those other games against somebody who sneaks them, I still think they could get to 10.
I'm kind of with you. I'm not even sold on them losing to Alabama necessarily.
I don't think that they beat Bama back to back. If this were at LSU,
if they doing that, you talking about a championship run right here.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, listen, this is, if they were going to make one, this is a good year to do it. This is the returning West champs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Let's not forget they won the West last year.
Okay. All right.
I'm gonna go over.
All four of us going over here.
I still don't think it's going to be the two we expect, but
I can see them losing a game that they're not supposed to lose, quote unquote. But I still think
they're still over.
Yeah.
Unless something just tragic happens and
right,
they, you know what I mean. But all things being equal, I see them going over here. All right. Next up is that other school.
Yeah.
2-10, baby. I'm gonna run it down for y'all. This team, oh no, that's real petty. Wow, the circle.
You forgot who you dealing with. You forgot who you dealing with.
It's never not gonna be a thing.
I like how that shit just popped up too.
It's never not gonna be a thing.
You don't even know who you dealing with. Like
he turned it off and turned it back on.
Nah, it's permanent.
The circle of the slash.
Yeah, it's permanent.
Okay, it felt like okay. My eyes playing tricks on me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's permanent.
Yeah, it's permanent.
I was like the circle of the slash just popped up. Yeah. Okay, so this is the 31st ranked schedule in the country. Their opponents were combined 86 and 66 last year with a 56.6% win percentage. So this schedule ranks just outside the top 25. They join 6 other teams in the SEC that have schedules ranked outside the top 25. So
if I could have made their logo lowercase, I would have. Sorry, but
hey,
so
do they lose week 2?
Yes.
Listen. A lot of people are calling for this, right? They're calling for this loss here. What do they do on the schedule, man? Like, I mean, I think they got the kid from Notre Dame now, but we're not 100% sure he might. I mean, they went out and got him, but I don't know enough about what's going on inside that locker room to know whether he is a guaranteed start or not. Yeah. So like,
OC wanted somebody for the scout team. That's all it was.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, when you look at this schedule at Auburn with Hugh Freeze as coach,
what's the low key disrespectful compliment? He's a locker room guy.
Yeah. 1, 2. Let me see.
He's a coach on the field.
Win
right.
Probably
on sideline.
Win 4, 5, loss maybe.
So they need to get to 11. Ugh.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the under on this one. This might be a 10-win Bama team.
Mississippi State 4.
Yeah, I could see them getting to 10. I don't know if they're gonna get to 11.
They beat Tennessee. They beat Tennessee.
They might not get to 10.
I mean, there's a possibility that they could win 9 games, but I think that. Regardless, I don't think they get to 11.
Texas,
Tennessee, LSU. Yeah, I mean,
so you said you think LSU beat Bama again, though. So
I don't think they beat Bama on the road.
Who else beats Bama?
Listen, I'm gonna be a full-time homer.
Homer this. So no, that's not even a homer take though.
Auburn, Texas.
That's not Auburn take.
And that's all you need is Auburn and Texas, and they don't get to 10.
The game is on the Plains and with a coach who's already beat this dude twice in a row.
So we're gonna put up points on Kevin Steele?
Of course we are. That's what they do.
Everybody did in 2020 and 2018. I mean, like that's impossible.
You mean head coach in waiting, Kevin Steele?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Listen, that could be an L down there at the bottom of the schedule. I think personally, this is a 9-win Bama team. I'm taking the under
if this
here.
was
I'm going
in Bryant Denny, maybe I'd feel differently about that. I think we can sneak them on at home.
Yeah, I'm going under here, man. Listen, you're saying it's this. So
I'm going
it's
under.
it's us 11 or bust, right?
Right.
It's 11 or bust,
or under. Yeah.
For
right?
sure.
And even at 11 wins, it's possible that they still lose the West if they don't beat LSU.
Right.
So this is 11. This is SEC West or bust for Bama. I don't think I'm sorry. I mean, I know this is not one of the harder schedules in the country, but again, the bar is so high for them on the over under. I as a betting
if this
man,
was at 9.5, I'd feel a lot better about betting it over.
for sure.
But at 10.5,
right. This is like that game where you draw a card from the deck and it's like a queen, and then you have to be like over or under for the next card.
right?
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, the chances are you drew a queen, so yeah. The next card's
going
an 8.
under.
Yeah,
B, did you say?
I think I'm going under too.
yeah,
going
come
under.
on.
I
Yeah,
don't
Everyone
think
is-
it's gonna be Texas because honestly, Steve Sarkisian he ain't what people think he is. He's like Lane Kiffin, Big 12 version, but he's got more talent. They got too much talent.
I mean, listen,
or,
Bama still got a lot to
Northern
figure
Bayer.
out with their offense. I don't think they have it figured out by week 2. That's all I'm saying.
They do, but didn't Texas lose a very, very, very good running back, like an all-world?
Bijan Robinson.
They lost
Yeah.
a big piece, and even if you got another 5-star running back, Bijan wasn't just a standard issue 5-star running back. Like he was special.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see.
They had the best O-line recruiting class right in the country when NIL hit.
They did.
They gave everybody like $75,000 yearly contracts on the O-line.
I play O-line for him.
Hearts for horns. So yeah, I'm gonna go under here, and this isn't even Bama hate, man. I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
Realistically speaking, if the bar is 11 or bust, yeah, like you'd be silly not to take the under here.
All right, gentlemen.
And Brian,
Mhm.
Bryce Young single-handedly won that game for them against Texas last year.
He did.
No more Bryce Young.
No more Pete Golding either, though.
Yeah, I mean, no more Pete Jones, but you got Kevin Steele.
Mm.
And the thing about
Kevin
it
Steele
is,
was talent.
yeah, I don't care about that. It's game 2. If this was game 5 or 6, I'd be a more believer in that. It's game 2.
Game 2.
And the tune-up game is not a real team. So you aren't even really going
Right.
to know what you have yet. I think Texas wins that game in Bryant-Denny Stadium, and Bama fans cry the remainder of the season.
Buddy, that would just be so marvelous. I'd be texting my cousin and all my Bama friends and family. They would, I wouldn't even care, but they would be just distraught to losing Bryant-Denny to Steve Sarkisian.
I'm telling you.
That would be great. I would love it just for the hate. The hate.
Hey, B, say it with me.
Hey.
This November, you can see armed guards by every tree for this Iron Bowl. Like,
yeah, for real.
top flight security of the world by every tree.
For sure. All right, guys, let's get to us. It's time for us.
Oh, here we go.
Yes.
Over.
This is the 15th
right, guys.
ranked schedule in the country. 15th. You heard it here. Auburn opponents were combined 93 and 62 last year. 60% win percentage.
So Auburn is starting out 3-0.
I'm sorry, this is a 12th ranked schedule.
Yeah.
Auburn's starting out 3-0, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think UMass. Listen,
they get A&M?
I'm not sold on us in the state of California, but that should not be a very good Cal team. It's a game they should win. I wonder is like a 9 p.m. start as bad as an 11 a.m. start?
9:30. Well, I don't know. I have no
it's
idea.
7 out there, so
Yeah,
7:30 out there.
Yeah, but their body's clock is going to be 9:30. So, yeah, man.
I don't know.
Yeah, see, I have mixed feelings. I'm gonna put that in the win column for Auburn right now. So yeah, I think this should be a 3-0 start, possibly a 4-0 start, depending on what Hugh Freeze can get going in those first 3 games. Like how polished do they look?
right.
You know, I know B is a Petrino believer, but like
That's kind of a rough slate between Texas A&M to Ole Miss.
Yeah, man. Listen, again, 12th ranked schedule in the country. So, like, I mean, if you had a
You want to be
schedule
able to
ranked
split
inside
those.
the top
You want to
25,
split those if you can.
yeah, if you had a schedule ranked inside the top 25 in the SEC, you've likely got a 4-game stretch like this somewhere on your schedule.
Yeah.
Right. So, and at A&M, which Auburn has fared well in College Station. It's not like they haven't gone on and got wins. Georgia, L, LSU, man. Right now, you guys say is an L. Ole Miss, hopefully they're getting together. I had Ole Miss and Mississippi State as toss-ups, right? I had those games as toss-ups. So I think they get at least one of those.
So we get New Mexico State. That's 4. We beat Arkansas on the road.
Yes.
That's
Can we just
5.
talk about Vandy? Let's talk about Vandy. Yeah, I think we get Vandy. Arkansas 5.
Wait, where are we? Our common ground is UMass, Cal, Samford, New Mexico State,
Vanderbilt.
Vanderbilt, yeah, right.
So we've got
that's
5
wins.
wins.
That's 5
you
right
so
there.
they need
So
two
you
more.
got, you got
two more
Ole
wins.
Miss.
We just said
State.
that we believe that we're going to beat Bama. That puts us at 6. Now we have to beat one of the combination of Ole Miss,
Mississippi
State.
Yeah.
I'm
going over. Yeah, this is over.
Because I'm going over. Because I think comfortably. I think I'm liking how we are at 7 wins.
Right. I still am
I
not
think we can
ruling
get
out
8.
A&M. Yeah, I think this could be
I
8.
think so, but at
Yeah.
the very to me, I think 7's a good number.
Yeah,
Mhm.
7 is probably the more likely number, but I do think that we can get the over with this.
Yeah,
for sure.
For sure. Mississippi State, I mean, they needed overtime to beat us last year. After
And a huge
Harsin got
comeback
fired.
to beat us the year before.
Yeah, come on, man. If Peyton Thorne or Robbie Ashford or whoever plays a quarterback is any more developed than what we had last year, and some of these wide receiver recruits come through, and and Jarquez Hunter has the type of season that we hope that he's going to have. Like
The wide receiver core is just overhauled. I'm glad we're undervalued. I think we're heavily undervalued here. We've got too much of an influx of talent.
Yeah, like listen, I think you see some familiar names out there based on what I've seen and what I know at wide receiver, but there could be. So I don't think it's an overhaul at wide receiver, but I do think that there is a unknown game changer at wide receiver that nobody's heard of. Rivaldo Fairweather and Luke Deal are going to factor into this. Like, I mean, this is I think Brian said something that's very true, right, about A&M and Auburn having a chance to be much better than what people expect them to be this year.
Yeah.
Right now, usually it's because the bar's on the floor, right? Like when you say much better. So right now for Auburn, I feel like the bar is in the middle. I think 6.5, 6 would have the bar right in the middle. And, there was that, we talked about this on a previous show where I think it was some dummy over on 3 was like, Peyton, was it Casey Thompson or Peyton Thorne would be the difference between Auburn making a bowl game or not making a bowl game.
Yeah.
I felt very strongly that was cap and stupid, and that Hugh Freeze would be the difference between Auburn making a bowl game or not making a bowl game. Coaching. They were 1 game short of a bowl game last year in a complete disaster of a season. You had some continuity at staff keeping Cadillac and Zach Etheridge, right? And then you brought in what we hope is confident staff at other positions. So that being said, you make upgrades to the offensive line. It'd be hard pressed for them to do worse, right? So you've got maybe a more competent run game and some better pass protection. You hope you've upgraded it at running back, and nobody knows what to expect from this passing game, so they have a chance to come out the gate and surprise some people if the system can look polished by the time they hit a SEC play. Right? So you have a chance maybe to start your season 4-0. And then, at that point, who knows what's going on with these other teams, man, with Ole Miss and Mississippi State and some of these like fringe teams, Vanderbilt, Arkansas. Is anybody feeling really good about those teams right now? Look where the over-unders are for them. They're all about where Auburn is. Right? So when you see a group of teams and everybody's around 6.5, 7 games in terms of over-under, like, B, can you do a quick count? How many teams are at 6.5?
Let me see.
In conference. Like, I mean, it just felt like we're going
number.
Yeah, like it just tells me there's a lot of toss-ups there.
Football, NCAA futures, teams, wins. No, that's the wrong one.
Yeah, I just think it's interesting. You know, a Vanderbilt, again, you're looking at that. Their over-under is really low. You know,
I know you had it was the
Arkansas
South Carolina
is 7, Auburn's is 6.5. Going down alphabetically here.
Okay, that's 2.
What's it? Florida's 5.5.
They're not on our schedule, but whatever.
They're not. But just as far as conference wide,
Okay.
there's a theme of mediocrity here. So next one, Kentucky 6.5.
6.5.
No, not scheduled, but still mediocre. UMass, we don't play them. Why does Mississippi State 6.5?
6.5.
Missouri 6.5.
6.5. That's 6 teams. Yikes, man! Come on.
Yeah.
Missouri's on the schedule. Arkansas's on the schedule.
Ole Miss 7.5.
No, Missouri's not on the schedule. Ole Miss 6.5.
7. They get 7.5.
7.5. Okay, so 1 game.
It's the lane tax. Vandy is A&M is 7.5. Vandy is
like 3.5, right?
3.5.
3.5.
And Wake Washington.
Yeah,
that's all the middle of the pack.
Okay. I mean, come on, dude. Like, all I'm saying is that this is very, very right in the middle for Auburn, and it's more likely to go north than it is south. I think personally, and that's not even a homer take, man. Like, I mean, count out the guaranteed wins that we know, probably UMass, Stanford, New Mexico State, right? That gets you 3 wins. You know, are you telling me Auburn goes 2-6 in the SEC again this year? I don't see it.
Yeah, I mean, that's what the odds makers are saying for sure. And listen, I said it last time when we talked about this. I don't know that Georgia is as guaranteed a win because of it being earlier in the season. So we'll see. But
yeah, we'll see. I mean, again, they're going to have a new quarterback down there, and we'll see if he can step in and fill Stetson Bennett's shoes. He played like a champion last year. You got to give him his credit. He stepped up significantly year over year. Can that defense be all world 3 years in a row?
It's going to be a different team.
They could be. Yeah. They could be.
They recruited well enough to be.
Yeah, they definitely could be. So I'm not willing to bet against them defensively after last year.
For sure.
I thought they would take a little bit of a step back.
No, not really.
Yeah, right. And they were still nasty. I mean, the games that they gave up points, like Ohio State, they had superior and significantly superior talent than a lot of other teams offensively on the other side of the field from them. But I would take the over on Auburn this year in Hugh Freeze's first year. And I have to say, again, in the last 10 years, this is only the 3rd time that Auburn has had a strength of schedule to start the season ranked outside of the top 10. So this is one of the easiest schedules they've had in the last decade. And in year 1, I think that's a gift for Hugh Freeze. I think it's a gift for Hugh Freeze. If there's any year where he had to pull it together and he might get, listen, some of those wins might look ugly. But in year 1, you take ugly wins. You take every W you can while you're trying to work out your system and get things to fit, right? Like, some of these wins might look ugly, but I think with competent coaching and good in-game decisions, you win the close ones. You win the Mississippi States that you lost last year, right? You beat the South Carolinas. Like, these games that Auburn inexplicably lost because the game plan was not good. You win maybe with competent coaching. And then if for some reason anybody steps up, if Jarquez Hunter has a first-team All-SEC season, right? If a first-team All-SEC receiver arises, if we have a quarterback in the top, third of the conference in terms of all statistics encompassing quarterback, this could be an 8-win team. I think a bowl game should be a no-brainer. And you pay a coach $6 million, you should expect 6 wins. I know it's the SEC. I know it's tough, but man, come on, dude. Like, you can't get to 6.
I mean, I think we're feeling optimistic just because of the fact that he upgraded the talent and key positions. So it gives you a lot of optimism going into the next season for sure.
Yeah, I'm hammering the over on this one, guys. Like I said, and I don't even think that's a homer take, personally. And the Iron Bowl, again, looms large in year one, with a Bama team that, maybe has some chinks in the armor.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to get them and surprise some people, this would be the year. So this is a favorable schedule for Hugh Freeze in year one. It's a very favorable schedule.
Ben Bloodworth says, what about a neck brace on a pig? I see what you did there. That was great. I love it. Love it. Love it. Love
Captain
it.
neck brace.
Stephen Keel says, Stephen Willis said 10-2.
In regards to Ole Miss, he says that Ole Miss is going to go 10-2 next year.
Okay.
Oh, talking about for the Locked On Ole Miss.
Mm-hmm.
Got it.
Yeah, okay.
Of course he would
Cool.
think that.
All right, bro.
UGA can win with a new QB. This is Corey Dubb. 5
They could
stars
also lose
surrounding
with
the
a new QB. So I don't mean they have a new offensive coordinator who is not, in my opinion, as good as the old offensive coordinator.
No,
that
he's
new
not.
QB is going to be making his first big road trip in the SEC. 5 stars around him don't matter if he's throwing interceptions, right? Like, we're acting as if that quarterback only has to teleport the ball to someone else. He's still got to make the right decision on where to go with the football.
Yeah, I would just say, I would put it this way, right? Like, as much talent as they've had come through Georgia, they have definitely picked the wrong quarterback at times, right? Yeah. They let Justin Fields get out of their quarterback room. And, so I'm not saying there's not talent in there, but again, the evaluation of that talent is not an exact science, right? They didn't pick Stetson Bennett technically first.
Right.
They arrived at him through injury and decided to stick with him after that. And then fortunately for them, he developed. So, I mean, the 2 scenarios under which Georgia went back to back were they were so drastically different and highly unlikely.
And
right?
Again, I'm not saying Georgia's going to be terrible next year. I never said and we said that last time. I just said that I don't think that they go undefeated, which their over-under says. And the question was, where would they lose? I said potentially at Jordan-Hare.
Yeah, right. I'm telling you, it's always an inexplicable loss there that can't be explained, man. The grind is tough, and every once in a while you get out game planned, and it's not something that's easy to predict.
Yeah.
Right. But I mean, if you
it
were
took
going to predict
a while to become that dude. It took him a while to become that dude. So
now, listen,
it's
per the rankings, Caesar, this is one of the easiest schedules that Georgia has in the SEC in the country.
Yeah.
Ranked in the 60s somethings, right? Like, so I get people saying where they lose for sure, but you just have to account for something's not going to go as planned, either for Georgia or for somebody they play. Somebody's going to be
I just
better
think it's unlikely they go
are.
undefeated back-to-back seasons. That's just that's
and
my
they could still win a championship.
Correct. Again, this is not me predicting the downfall of Georgia. I'm just saying
one loss.
Right. But they slip up in one game potentially.
For sure.
Again, we go back to Missouri last year. Nobody expected that game to be that close. Nobody.
16-12, right? Was the final score?
Right.
Come on, man. They were sweating bullets. Georgia fans were sweating bullets for 3.5 quarters.
Yeah.
For sure.
No.
All right. Good talk, gentlemen. Ike, take us out, man. Tell the people what they need to be doing.
Need to get on board with this film, man. We have a lot of it coming to you. I think I'm going to be doing some basketball film tomorrow, so you guys stay tuned for that. If you're into basketball, let's have some fun looking at some of the players that have come on board with us during this transfer portal stuff, and maybe some of the older players. I'll see if I can sneak in some of that footage as well. You can gift memberships, and thank you again to those of you who have continued to do that. We appreciate that for all of those who have done that today. If you didn't get a chance to win something, head over to our website, thewarreport.com. You can shop there and get your own stuff. I'll make sure I got to go back and look at what the color scheme is for. If you guys didn't notice on our schedule on the Auburn site, if you go look at it on the Auburn website, they do have color schemes for every game that we're supposed to do, like wear all navy or all orange. I need to make sure that I have some shirts lined up for you guys for every game. So we'll try to see if we can do that. Auburn Express is where you can listen to us on podcasts, powered by the War Report. Make sure you head over there. Mike Mack and the Memes, new episode dropping every single week. Amen Corner. Those things you can only hear on pod. So we appreciate everybody who's locked in there.
Thank y'all for tuning in and watching the latest and greatest. Please share this content on social media, Facebook, Twitter. Use the hashtag even at us so we can see you sharing this content. Smash the like button and subscribe to our channel. I mentioned Facebook and Twitter, but we're also on IG at The War Rapport. We're TW Rapport on TikTok. Tip for now, guys, be on the lookout for some of Ike's drops for tomorrow with film review, but we'll be back at you on Friday, the morning drop. Until then, enjoy the rest of your evening. As always, War Eagle.
Hey.
War Eagle.